Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day, and we're going to dive in talking a little bit about having patience in the process on your way to the prize, because the world, and I love social. I'm all about, there's negatives and positives about social media. And I think there's definitely a lot of negatives about social media, but I think there's also a lot of positives about social media. And so is life, right? So you play the hand that you're dealt. And so I think one of the negatives on behalf of like the end of social media is it tricks people into thinking that it has to come easy and anybody can lie. So you can lie and just look cool on social media and look like it happened overnight and make it seem like it's real easy. And so all these other people that are out there in the process are thinking something got to be wrong, with me, because the world has a way of tricking us into thinking that things should be easy and overnight success. The marketing of the winner at the casino that won $1 million, not marketing all the people that lost their paychecks in their homes, or the lottery winner, that was 300 million or, 400 million, or somebody that did get lucky with immediate success in business. There are people that win the lottery. There are people that have this, they bought a house in the middle of nowhere and all of a sudden there's mineral rights under there and they become and so people start trying to think that that's the game you're supposed to play. And in my experience, that ends up getting you cut short. That's the lottery deal of, I know people that, and I'm not knocking the hustle, but I know people that will go all out. The lottery went from, recently, I forget what it was, 300 million. It was up to like 800 million or $1 billion. And I'm telling somebody, I had somebody close to me that was playing the lottery all the time. And I'm like, what's the difference between if you won it for 300 million or you won it for 800 million? You're still rich. And so just because it went to 800 million don't mean you got to play every day now because there's an extra 500 million in there. If I gave you 300 million a day, you're in a really good position. And so I know a lot of folks out there that play the lottery consistently, and, some have won, a lot haven't won. And you look at, well, if you're playing $20 a day, 30 days a month, $600 a month, $7,000 a year, 20 years, $140,000, and the interest that could have been gained, on that, may end up being, if we work the math out, $500,000 plus that could have been in your bank account or savings account, or $1 million, probably you start working those numbers out long enough. And, I think that's just the whole mindset of a lot of people in general. Is what really works for sure, that I know, that I've witnessed, that I've watched a lot of people be successful in doing, is the daily disciplines focused over and over and over and over and over again that compound over years until one day it appears that that person is an overnight success. It's the fighter that is making $100,000 a fight now that 10 years ago could barely put gas in their car, that's putting in 3 hours a day of training and 3 hours a day driving all over the place for weeks at a time, months at a time, years at a time, long after everybody gave up and called them crazy, consistently compounding over time, that now is winning a decade later. And so that's the stuff that usually wins. It's your effort that you do day in and day out that doesn't seem like it's getting you very far, that frustrates most people because they don't have the patience in the process. And so that's why so many people that could have more success don't, is because they're jumping from one thing to the next, one focus to the next. As soon as it gets too hard over here, we're switching it and going over here. And then it's going to get hard over there. It's the same thing that I've learned in relationship advice, from good mentors is, hey, there's going to be a point in your relationship where both of you guys are sick of each other's shit. And you could start looking at this person and saying, man, I love 80% of them, but 20% of them, I wish I could change. And then you go to the person, you leave that person and you go to the person that had that 20% that you wish that you could have changed in the other person. They got that. And so you go to that person and now all of a sudden you like 80% about them, but there's 20% that you wish you could change over there. And then you go through the honeymoon stage and everything is good. And then you're left with reality of people are imperfect, including yourself. So you have to stand on what are the morals and values and key ingredients that are my non-negotiables in the relationship. Seek out those things in a person and be ready to be flexible in everything else, because none of us is perfect and things are going to take time. Things are going to have challenges. And so business and life is the exact same way. It's putting your all into something consistently and letting it compound over time. And if you keep quitting everything and starting over for the next easiest thing, you keep going through honeymoon stages and you waste a lot of time. But more importantly, that compounding interest stops and you got to start over. If you continuously try shortcuts, you end up getting cut short. And what the key is the double down on doing the right things in the process. And those things are going to compound over time. And so compounding interest, for those of you guys that are missing what I'm saying, is if you were to look at $1 million and you get 10% interest on that $1 million, then every 7 years your money would double. That's compounding interest over time. And so that's without any more work. So today, if you had $1 million, you invested it and you could just get 10%, 7 years later, it's worth $2 million. 7 years after that, it's worth $4 million. 7 years after that, it's worth $8 million. So basically over a 21-year period, your $1 million would go to $8 million with no more work done. Just letting time progress. That's compounding interest. The tough thing is building up to the $1 million and then having the patience to allow it to compound and not lose money. Number one, Warren Buffett's number one rule about money is to not lose money. That's number one. Don't lose money. And so in the process of trying to make so much money, people can get greedy and they lose money. In the process of trying to make your life perfect, you get greedy and look for the other man or other girl and you lose your honey. You lose your money. You lose the person that you had that was right, that wasn't 100%. And then the same thing in business is people always looking for the easiest route is they stop the compounding interest and you end up losing what you had because you didn't have the patience to hit a single. Everything has to be a home run. Wanting a home run is normal. Everybody wants to hit home runs, but usually when you're learning from people, home runs happen just by having the right swing and the right timing and enough reps. And usually the more you try to hit a home run all the time, sometimes you don't. Wanting a home run is normal, but games are consistently won in singles and doubles, one base at a time, like life. It's like in golf. It's not how hard you swing. And believe me, I am a long way from giving anybody too much of advice in golf. I am at the very beginning stages. Like 80-year-olds hit it further than me. But what I've learned enough is in golf, they keep telling me it's not how hard that I swing. It's the technique that takes thousands of reps in order to master it. You just got to keep showing up, keep swinging, and making sure that you're swinging with the right technique. Focusing on doing the fundamentals well is what consistently wins games. Being married to the process and being patient, and the prize will eventually come to you. And the prize creates stability when it's built upon the process as opposed to shortcuts on luck. So if you're looking to build something, you know, you can build a house of bricks or you can build a house of cards. And the house of cards goes up quicker. And you could even make it look cool. But when the wind blows and the storm comes, it's usually not left standing. And so you got to ask yourself, am I trying to build a life of a house of cards, or am I building a life of a house of bricks on a solid foundation? And the solid foundation, just like when you look at building a solid foundation, the taller the building you want to build, the deeper down you have to dig. And so if you want to build a skyscraper, you gotta dig down real deep first, in the mud, in the dirt, in the process, bunch of work going on to get the foundation laid in order to build something that big. But if you're in a rush, you could have built a nice house real quick, a nice building real quick, real fast, would have been done. And everybody would say, wow, look what you built. I see the result from your labor so quickly. But if you try to build a skyscraper like that, you have to dig down deep in the mud, in the dirt, get all the foundation right, because you can't build something big on a weak-ass foundation. And weak-ass foundations are all that gets built in the shortcuts that people try to take in whatever the process is, and then they find themselves deep in their life trying to build this foundation now, or realizing it, or, you know, hopefully realizing it, when really you just got to pay the frickin' price right now. You got to build the foundation right now. And building the foundation is not sexy, but it'll be sexy 10 years from today. Building the foundation is not sexy, but it'll be sexy 5 years from today. And so can you dig down and create the stability in your life that you're going to want 5 years from today, in which is built on the process opposed to shortcuts, so you can create the stability and things that you want later on in life? Because I promise you, the shortcut is always easier. The shortcut is always, for right now, man, this person's pissing you off. Go get with the side piece, the shortcut right now for the next month. Great time. Fun for you. But is it fun 5 years from today? Is it fun 10 years from today? The shortcut in the process is always more fun and more intriguing and more enticing and more sexy and attractive right now. And so you have to have enough 10 toes on the ground, enough fortitude, enough stability, enough discipline to consistently show up in the non-glorious grind, the non-glorious process that's going to lead you to where it is that you want to be. And so I just want to encourage you guys out there that are up with me doing this thing. I just want to encourage you in your process, and look at how long you've been doing something, and maybe look at how far you've come. Look how far you've come in 2 years. Look how far you've come in 3 years. And don't allow yourself, you know, it's one thing to have ambition, and it's another thing to rush the process. You know, I think another one, Warren Buffett used to say, you don't have a baby in 9 months by getting nine women pregnant in 1 month, adding up to the 9 months. It still takes 9 months. And so you can't rush the process of something. That's the difference is, and when you look at it, even the baby, the process, like the person that's behind the wheel right now, the 16-year-old that just got their driver's license, they started out in somebody's belly and had to go through the process of learning how to walk, learning how to talk, learning the English vocabulary or whatever their language is, and walking and falling down and walking and falling down and learning how to feed themselves, learning how to bathe themselves. That's a process. And it's always work, but it's more work in the beginning. It's harder to take care of children. Like I've been in the baby stage 3 times. My son, who's 19 months right now, that is a little bit more difficult of a challenge, you know, and I'm not the star player in this challenge. My wife and and them are the star players. But in my role as a father and what I've witnessed and what I've been a part of, like it's hard in that 19-month stage. They're down to do whatever. You got to keep them from killing themselves, basically. They would jump off the deck, jump down the stairs, off the couch, whatever. You got to keep them from killing themselves in that process. Can't do a lot for themselves, can't heat anything up, can't bathe themselves, can't wipe themselves, none of that stuff. So it's a lot of freaking work. But you got to have the vision that one day the baby's going to take care of himself. One day he'll be able to walk. One day they'll be able to talk. One day they'll be able to feed themselves. One day they'll be able to bathe themselves. One day they'll be able to, but you got to put the work in day by day. People tell you, oh man, it goes by fast. People that got kids goes by fast. Yeah, the years go by fast, but the days go by slow. And so if you're out there in the process of having a couple young kids and you haven't slept for a couple nights because you're in that process, it don't seem like it goes by fast, but everybody knows that it does. And so the same thing in your life. It don't seem like it's going by fast for you when you're in the process until you look up and, man, I've been doing this for 5 years, or I got here 5 years later. If you keep gaining inches and letting them compound, good things are going to happen for you without beating yourself. Don't go backwards out of rushing the process and where you're at, and good things are going to happen down the road. All right. So thanks for joining us today. If there's anybody that you know that we can help that needs to hear this message, do me a favor and please share that with these folks out there. That's how we spread the good news of the GRINDcast. And just want to thank you all for the time that you invest into listening to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day.